It's a freezing afternoon in Port Pegasus, on the southern end of Stewart Island, after braving a frenzy of sharks.
It was crazy. I've never seen so many sharks in one spot.
And a swanky sea lion.
Come right up on me, He's trying to come on to me. I was like, no, Gil, no, get out of the way.
The crew of the San Nicolas are now making their final push to rake in a few more dollars before they're forced to steam home. Leading the charge is Team Raymond and Red Dog.
I dived here actually 8 months ago, so I knew where I was going straight away and what to look for, so I did real well.
We got the finish for the day.
They've hit some amazing spots and are not shy to boast about their success.
That's more like a chimmer, bro. Today the size of the roe is just insane. I've never seen anything like it in a long time. Look at that unreal, boy. We didn't crack anything under that all day, and that's just fantastic, man. It's almost the size of my palm. You just don't see that nowadays. You don't see it much at all, so we're really lucky today just to get that, and I'm stoked.
What are our numbers here, Ginger Dog? 38 and...
I'm looking at all of these urchins, man, at least $1 each to me. You can't beat that. I'm not even catching them, mate.
Yeah, we got a crayfish. Yeah, it was tasty tonight. I had that for dinner.
Storm and Dwayne aren't in good spirits. They're finding it hard going in the rough conditions and chilly water.
Rolling conditions make it awful to get these bins off, especially these small ones. It's pretty frustrating being on a bad patch of urchins. You know, the roads, when it's real skinny, it's worth nothing, and it's just raking in shit, really, and we can't make any money. I'd much rather just be at school, to be honest.
All things considered, the boys are going well. Water's cold, not a lot of urchins around, so the bodies will be feeling it, they'll be getting cold.
As winter approaches, the water temperature around Stewart Island drops to as low as 8 degrees Celsius. Combine that with a southerly wind whipping straight off Antarctica, and the crew find themselves in a very inhospitable work environment.
It's a downer, especially when the clouds are around. It looks like it's about 5 o'clock and your mind's set on finishing. And
It's a spewing, sitting on that dinghy. How you feeling, bud?
Yeah, let's get another bit and get out.
This is some of the worst time of year for diving, and just have to knuckle down and do it.
Yeah, hard money, but good money! Yeah!
Money is always a great motivator with urchin divers, and with only an hour until sunset, the crew rip into it for one last gasp.
So good, man. Nice fat urchins, but it's cold. Freezing. Keen to knock off. Real keen.
It's freezing cold, man. I'm shivering underwater. Urchins are real fat. It's well worth my while, but yeah, I'd rather be in warm clothes right now.
Second back is Storm. He's put in a big effort to finish off the day.
Yeah, they're all right. They weren't great, but yeah, they're better than what we had before, so it makes a good end to the day anyway.
Yeah, Storm did good. He's a trooper, just gets in the water and keeps going, so it's good having young guys that are really keen and want to prove themselves.
Storm pulled in 9 dollars for the trip, which will earn him around $1,500, an exceptional amount of money for a 16-year-old, which has got him wondering about his future career options.
My friend Raymond right here, he's a case in point, right? He dropped out of school, 16, went kinner diving. Now look at him go, the bloody best kinner diver I know, just slaying it, making a ton of money and having a great time, you know. Didn't go to university, got no qualifications. And look at him.
Total number for me this trip's 13, so I'm wrapped as. The unlucky number, but she's loaded with money. Unlucky number 13, should have got 14, I just don't like leaving it on the 13.
They teach you that in school. Oh wait, you don't spend enough time there. Know that. Get out of the way.
Unlucky number 13 for Raymond it may be, but for skipper Dwayne, it's music to his ears.
Yeah, boys have done really well actually on the urchin this trip. It's surprised me how well the boys have done actually. I haven't done a count up yet, but I think it's about 37 dolabs, which is, yeah, it's a good haul. But, you know, it's all to do with the markets. We could go out and get 36 or 37 every time, but we wouldn't be able to sell them all. But at the moment we can, so makes it good.
Pulling in fat sea urchin is one thing, keeping them fresh is another. The last job of the day is loading the final dolabs and securing them for the steam home. With bad weather predicted across Fovo Strait, it's integral that this is completed with great care and precision.
Got to make sure we keep these urchins out of the wind and the rain on the trip home because that's the worst thing for them. We'll pick up the anchor and head home. It'll be a 9-hour steam or so and then unload, 3 o'clock in the morning.
As the San Nicolas steams out of Port Pegasus towards Bluff, Dion has a chance to reflect on his last trip with the crew.
Not too bad of a day. Wrapped it up in the end with quite a bit of fat urchin. Make a bit of money for the last couple of dolabs of the day. Mixed emotions, eh? I'm out of here. Nah, it's been good working with the boys. Yeah, hopefully they can cope without me. They're real good. Yeah, hopefully I'm back in a couple more seasons.
Although Storm would love to take Dion's place as a full-time crew member, tomorrow is Monday, which means school.
Just catching up on a bit of schoolwork, you know, with all this diving, you know, still got to get the education, so just trying to finish off a piece of media studies, making a short film and just running up the plot here, so we'll just keep going on that.
It's a different story altogether up in the wheelhouse. Dwayne is hearing a little more about the bad weather they're due to hit in a few hours.
Good evening, this is Bass Fisherman's Radio, standing by. Heavy southwest swell, easing for a time.
By the sounds of things, that's a lot worse than he first expected.
Fovo Strait here, which is between Stewart Island and Bluff, and because it's shallow and it's got quite a lot of push through it, it banks up and gets quite steep and nasty, but it's not too bad. I think we've got about 4 metres in the straight, about 30 odd knots, so yeah, got a good boat.
While Dwayne might be playing it cool, his crew know what a rough night crossing Fovo Strait can be like.
Oh mate, it's going to be absolute we've got about 30-40 knots of westerly coming through and yeah, it's got a 2 metre, 3 metre roll out there, so I'm really not looking forward to it.
You get pretty patchy sleep really, you know, you're tossing and turning, sometimes you even fly out of your bunk if it's that bad.
As it turns out, Storm couldn't have said it better. 3 hours later, and the San Nic plows straight into the face of nature's fury.
So we've just come around the corner of Breaksea Islands. The shit weather's come out of nowhere. Waves are quite a lot bigger and sharper than I thought they were going to be. Things could get quite interesting.
The crew of the San Nicolas set off from Stewart Island at 6 p.m, fully loaded down with tens of thousands of dollars worth of sea urchins.
Got to make sure we keep these urchins out of the wind and the rain on the trip home because that's the worst thing for them.
Despite the warning of high seas expected for the crossing,
Fisherman's Radio, heavy southwest swell, easing for a time.
Captain Dwayne didn't seem worried at all.
I think we've got about 4 metres in the straight, about 30 odd knots, so yeah, got a good boat.
A few hours later, as the San Nic steams around Breaksea Island into Fovo Strait, that attitude is all of a sudden being put to the test. The infamous and powerful waters of the strait have erupted, meeting the San Nic head on.
The situation here is we've got quite a lot of weight up the front of the boat and it's causing the nose to dig in a bit with these short, sharp waves, which is not ideal in a boating situation.
Manning the wheelhouse is Dwayne and Red Dog. and as the seas batter the sand nick, they notice the tie-downs or strops holding the dolab secure have come loose from the impact of the waves.
It was just so gnarly, they're 2.5 ton strops. We're just flexing about a metre. But boom! Smashed it into the side of the boat as we're rolling side to side.
You can't have weight slipping from side to side on a boat. You know, if you've got a boat sitting there and you've got all of a sudden 3 ton pushing it that way, it's like an extra, and then 3 ton pushing it that way.
Starts doing a wee bit of a dance and you're freaking out like, here's our cat's about to go over the side, going on.
We didn't have time to go and wake up all the boys and muster everyone up. It was just, we're here, let's get the job done, and gradually people woke up and saw what was going on.
You could hear the boys upstairs, so I raced upstairs in my underwear, just straight out of bed, and saw Dwayne was in his wet weather gear, so he jumped outside and I jumped on the wheel.
We just had to dive into it. We had to keep ploughing into these waves until we get a lull, and then we'll turn side on and turn with it.
Turned the wheel hard to port, gave it absolute arsehole to get the boat going with the wind and the waves and the tide.
Turning the sand nick side onto the waves is extremely dangerous, but an imperative move if the crew are going to have a chance to resecure their precious cargo of urchins.
You know, a couple of those bins were to fall off onto the port-hand side of the boat, and we did cop a wave over our starboard. It's easy enough to flip over the San Nicholas. And yeah, we don't want a capsized boat in the Fovo Strait. That's happened enough.
Completing the turn and now heading with the waves, the crew can get to work.
As soon as that rocking motion stopped, they have the ability to strop those bins down real well.
It doesn't take long for the entire crew to get wind of what is going on and jump into action.
I heard all the boys get up and I seen Dwayne and Red Dog out on deck and the boat was just going crazy, eh?
The crew work frantically repositioning the dolabs and then adding extra tarps and tie-downs. A dangerous task in rough water, but the crew know the job and have the situation under control in a matter of minutes.
You're the man, Red Dog. Cheers, bro. Just luckily, someone who knew what they were up to was up awake and could see it coming, so pull the hammer back, pull the throttle back, get out there and just sort it out as quick as you can. No around, that's how someone gets hurt, so yeah.
Crisis averted. Dwayne redirects the bow of the sand nick back into the waves and guns it for home.
Just another day in the life of a fisherman, being prepared for scenarios that just appear and dealing with it.
Four hours of weathering the storm later, and the bright lights of Bluff greet the crew of the Sand Nick a little before 3 a.m.
So that was a pretty interesting trip home. We didn't bank on it getting that exciting, but back at port now, and we just got to unload all the urchins and get them off to the factory, and then we're going to clean the boat up and get home.
No matter what time of day the boat comes in, the urchins are immediately unloaded and taken to the factory to be processed. For a crew that's barely slept in the last 24 hours, it's the last thing they want to be doing.
It usually takes anywhere from 45 minutes to about an hour and a half to get the kinners off, and then we've got to scrub the boat down and stuff. So usually we're tied up after about 2 hours it takes to unload the boat.
It's a pain in the ass, it's very tiring, but you just get in and get the job done so you can go home and go to bed.
The sooner they are processed, the better, as urchin roe quality drops the longer they are out of the water.
Quality is money, less quality, less money. You got to feed the market. It's a hungry bitch. Feed it!
As the ship is unloaded, the final tallies can be counted. Considering the quality of the urchins collected on this trip, the numbers are high. Leading the way with 13 dolabs is Team Raymond, earning a whopping $2,600 for 2 days' work.
Yeah, I'm bloody wrapped with that. 2 days' work, 13 dolabs, stoked ass.
Just a little behind the pace of his mentor was Storm, with 9 dolabs making him $1,500 for the weekend. Pretty good pocket money for a 16-year-old. And on his final trip, Team Dion's 11 dolabs earned him $2,100. Not a bad note to leave the industry on. A hard trip all round, but a productive one, and the captain is chuffed with the efforts of his crew.
Considering the circumstances and considering where we went, the boys did well, made it worthwhile. We've come back with enough product to pay for the trip and keep the markets going.
Next time on Spiky Gold Hunters, the drama starts from the get-go.
Saw a whole lot of smoke coming out of the motor. Thought to myself, this isn't ideal.
And with winter conditions setting in,
Oh, I'm just so cold, bro. Just jump in the shower to warm up my hands, eh?
the crew face their most challenging expedition to date.